Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The period during which something is functional, as between birth and death. The experience of being alive, the course of human events and activities. He could no longer cope with the complexities of life. The condition of living or the state of being alive. While there's life, there's hope. An account of the series of events making up a person's life. The period during which something is functional, as between birth and death. The battery had a short life. Animation and energy in action or expression. It was a heavy play and the actors tried in vain to give life to it. A prison term lasting as long as the prisoner lives. He got life for killing the guard. A characteristic state or mode of living. Social life. A living person. His heroism saved a life. A motive for living. Pottery was his life. Living things collectively. The oceans are teeming with life. The course of existence of an individual. The actions and events that occur in living. He hoped for a new life in Australia. The organic phenomenon that distinguishes living organisms from non-living ones. There is no life on the moon. The period between birth and the present time. I have known him all his life. The period from the present until death. He appointed himself emperor for life. The period during which something is functional, as between birth and death. The period during which something is functional, as between birth and death. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. A unit of geological time during which a system of rocks formed. Ganoid fishes swarmed during the earlier geological periods. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. In England they call a period a stop. Ice hockey, one of 3 divisions into which play is divided in hockey games. The end or completion of something. Death put a period to his endeavors. The interval taken to complete one cycle of a regularly repeating phenomenon. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. An amount of time. Hastened the period of time of his recovery. Life after death. The time yet to come. Life after death. In a subsequent part of this document or statement or matter, etc. Eagerly desirous. Dying to hear who won. The time when something ends. A dying of old hopes. In or associated with the process of passing from life or ceasing to be. A dying man. A time of life, usually defined in years, at which some particular qualification or power arises. Tall for his eld. A late time of life. A beard white with eld. A time of life, usually defined in years, at which some particular qualification or power arises. She was now of school age. A prolonged period of time. We've known each other for ages. A late time of life. Old age is not for sissies. Grow old or older. She aged gracefully. An era of history having some distinctive feature. We live in a litigious age. Begin to seem older. Get older. The death of his wife caused him to age fast. How long something has existed. It was replaced because of its age. Make older. The death of his child aged him tremendously. The time at which life ends, continuing until dead. She stayed until his death. The time when something ends. It was the death of all his plans. The event of dying or departure from life. Her death came as a terrible shock. A final state. The absence of life or state of being dead. He seemed more content in death than he had ever been in life. The act of killing. He had 2 deaths on his conscience. The permanent end of all life functions in an organism or part of an organism. The animal died a painful death. The personification of death. The process of giving birth. The event of being born. They celebrated the birth of their first child. The kinship relation of an offspring to the parents. Cause to be born. A baby born, an offspring. The overall rate of incidence of Down syndrome is 1 in every 800 births. The time when something begins, especially life. They divorced after the birth of the child. A period of time during which a person is normally in a particular life state. The time when something ends. Transfer by a lease or by a will.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.